Hey everybody, I'm here to react to the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the Miami Dolphins in the wild card round of the playoffs last night in frigid temperatures. Sorry the video got out a little bit late. I was watching the game last night, celebrating, probably like most of you were. But yeah, man, I was very, very happy with this game. I was telling some of my friends during the game, and I was thinking to myself that this is the best that I've seen the 2023 Chiefs look in a long, long time, probably all season, against a quality opponent. The Chiefs' defense really dominated from start to finish. They gave up one big play touchdown to Tyreek Hill. It happens. It's going to happen. Tyreek Hill, as we all know as Chiefs fans, is a all-time great Hall of Fame level talent. And he got his touchdown last night, in his return to Arrowhead. So in a way, honestly, not even being a joke, good for him. Tyreek Hill helped the Chiefs for a lot of years, helped them win a Super Bowl, helped them get to multiple Super Bowls. I know he's said some things since he left Kansas City, but man, people talk. It's 2024 now. Everyone's got a podcast. Everyone's trying to talk, make some headlines. I wish Tyreek Hill nothing but the best. He's still a great player. He had a career high in yards this year for the Dolphins, so good for him. But when it comes to the Chiefs and their performance last night, dominant performance from the defense, and the offense, I thought looked about as good as they have all season. Reminded me a lot of the Cincinnati game a couple weeks ago. Their offense was methodical. They scored on many drives. They didn't finish in the red zone enough. They only went, I think, 2 for 6 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. But Harrison Butker was money. He kicked a lot of short field goals last night. But it was very cold, very dense air. So there was a higher degree of difficulty there with a field goal that may look easy, but making a 35-yard field goal in a playoff game in -8-degree temperatures is what I would call a difficult kick, and he made all of them. So really, really exciting win for the Chiefs. It feels strange to be sitting here, and in spite of all the problems the Chiefs have had this year, it really feels like that was a team last night that was peaking at the right time. For whatever reason, that Cincinnati game, I think a couple weeks ago, I think kind of flipped a switch for them. I think it kind of fired them up. I think it kind of reminded them of the past, reminded them of this playoff atmosphere. I think giving Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, many of the other starters a rest last week against the Chargers absolutely shown to be the right decision in this game. They looked rejuvenated. They looked energetic. Chris Jones looked great too, and he did play in the Chargers game, but Chris Jones also looked great. George Karlaftis looked great. McDuffie, other than the touchdown he gave up to Tyreek Hill, was really great all night. He was laying the hit stick on people all night. So was L'Jarius Sneed. So was Nick Bolton. It was really just an all-around great performance from the defense. Miami ran the ball a little bit. I don't have the numbers in front of me. As y'all know, as I start to get more serious about doing this, I'll start getting a little bit better about having the stats in front of me. But right now I'm just shooting from the hip and just kind of sharing my opinions and thoughts on the game. They really were great defensively. Patrick Mahomes, I thought, looked amazing. I know his stats didn't jump off the page. I think he had like 26 of 40. I think it was like 58% completion for the game. I think he was under 7 yards per attempt for pass, which is, below average. But the big ones are he had no turnovers. He was efficient. He was smart. He was safe with the football. There was several instances inside the 20-yard line where he just threw the ball away. Even if it was third down, he threw the ball away. Why? Because this Chiefs team is at their best in 2023 when they play complementary, smart, clean football. If they do that, they can win 2 or 3 playoff games. Now, I said a few weeks ago after they lost to the Raiders that I said that this team is not going to the Super Bowl. I still think they're probably not, if I had to guess, just because they do have a tough road ahead of them still. And also, I think Miami had a lot of things against them last night. I think that also hurt them. But this win undoubtedly proves that the Chiefs are one of the top 4 teams in the AFC still this year. And it proves that they absolutely have a shot. So anyone sitting here saying the Chiefs don't have a shot right now is wrong. Of course they do. They just won a playoff game. It wasn't that long ago that the Kansas City Chiefs were not winning many playoff games, or they were losing every first playoff game. Now it's become routine that the Chiefs are winning at least one playoff game every year. Another little side note, too, I don't know if you all know this, but Patrick Mahomes won his 12th playoff game last night. That actually puts him at 8th in the Super Bowl era, or when they refer to as all-time in NFL history. They're talking about the Super Bowl era there. But he is now 8th, standalone. He passed Aaron Rodgers and Roger Staubach last night with his playoff win. And by the way, he's only 28 years old. So pretty cool. Pretty cool little stat for Patrick Mahomes there. So yeah, it's really amazing to feel now like the Chiefs are looking like that kind of team that can just kind of turn it on when the postseason comes and they kick into another gear. Whether it's Andy Reid's play calling, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, it kind of just feels like all that stuff earlier this season doesn't really matter. You know, the drops, the penalties, the mistakes. They still had some of that stuff last night. Jawan Taylor had an illegal block in the back. He had another penalty, a holding penalty that hurt them. I still think Jawan Taylor overall in pass protection has played well. I think Pro Football Focus would indicate that. And the passing blocking grades. But, you know, the penalties are still a problem. They're going to be a problem, I think, for the rest of the year until he can really put it together and get it fixed in the offseason, I think. But, so there were still some issues. Travis Kelce had a couple of drops early on that you know, one of them might have been a touchdown. He dropped what may have been a touchdown, and then the Dolphins scored on the next drive, and instead of it being, 14-7, it was 10-7. You were kind of like, darn, kicking yourself there a little bit. Come on, Kelce, let's get it going. But he did get it going. He had 70-something yards in the game. Rashee Rice, awesome player. I am so excited about him. Chiefs fans have to be so excited about him because he's a rookie. He just went out there and had 130 yards receiving in a playoff game victory. That's exciting, man. That is very exciting. I think he is proving that he is going to be a very good player. That looks like maybe your future number one in this offense. Kelce looked like he still had it. Isaiah Pacheco ran hard all night and was consistent. He had, I think, 80-something yards, and he had like 3.5 yards per carry, him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It wasn't eye-popping rushing stats, but they set the tone on that first drive. They were able to consistently run the ball for short to moderate gains, which kept the defense honest, which allowed open passing lanes. I also felt like the Chiefs kind of went away from the running game a little bit there in the second and third quarters, but it all worked out in terms of an offensive balance, I felt, throughout the game, to where you really felt like, okay, they might run it here, they might not. I do think Patrick Mahomes bailed the Chiefs and Andy Reid out on a play where they were at 3rd and a yard at Miami's 40, and they tried to do some cute little back spin, pitch to McCole Hardman, and it got tackled for a 5-yard loss, and they just went for it on 4th and 6 anyways, and Patrick Mahomes ran for 20 yards and got the first down. So I do feel like Mahomes bailed them out there, and that's typically what he's done. He's been the spark, he's been the catalyst, he is that guy, he is that level of player where he is consistently going to win playoff games year in and year out, and he's going to make plays in them, and that is very, very exciting going forward if you're a Chiefs fan. Looking ahead a little bit, Houston defeated Cleveland yesterday. The Bills and Steelers game will not kick off until tomorrow now. On Monday, it got postponed because of the weather. And that one will determine who the Chiefs play next week. So if the Steelers lose to the Bills, which they're heavily favored to lose, the Bills are heavily favored to win at home against the Steelers, then it will be Chiefs at Bills next week. Nothing else matters. If the Bills win tomorrow, it will be Chiefs at Bills in Buffalo for the divisional round. If some chaos happens and the Steelers happen to win, then the Chiefs will actually be hosting Houston next week. The Chiefs still have a chance to go on the road, to host the AFC title game, but what would have to happen is Baltimore would have to lose next week, and then obviously the Chiefs would have to win whichever game they have next week. But I'm not really concerned about that, man. It looks like Patrick Mahomes is about to play his first road playoff game. I'm very excited about that. I mean, just as a football fan, I'm excited to see the Chiefs and the Bills in the playoffs again. So if the Bills lose, I will be happy because the Chiefs will be hosting, and I feel like the Bills are a pretty strong team, so it would be nice to have them knocked out. But that being said, I am excited for a Josh Allen-Patrick Mahomes rematch. If it's in Buffalo instead of Arrowhead, so be it. Patrick Mahomes has played 15 playoff games in his life now. 3 of them have been neutral sites at Super Bowls. The rest of them have all been home games, which is really just a wild stat. He's already played 12 playoff games at Arrowhead. That's just nuts. But that's what happens when you keep winning. So I'm excited to see Patrick Mahomes go on the road. I know he can win on the road. The Chiefs had a better record in the regular season this year on the road than they did at home. It's playoff football, and the Chiefs proved again this year, at least, that they can win one playoff game, that they still have that playoff experience and instinct in them that can get them maybe multiple playoff wins and potentially back to another Super Bowl. We'll see. All right, everyone, that's it for tonight. I'll preview the games coming up next weekend, and go Chiefs.